What if being single wasn't a failure, but the reason you finally find peace? Keanu Reeves had fame, money, and millions of admirers, yet he walked away from relationships. Not because he couldn't find love, but because he discovered something far more rare: silence, healing, and a peace most people spend their entire lives chasing. This is why Keanu Reeves says being single changed everything. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Now, let's dive into what really happened. In today's world, it often feels like everyone is chasing love, attention, or validation. Social media, movies, and even everyday life push the idea that being in a relationship is the ultimate goal. But Keanu Reeves, one of the most admired actors in the world, did something completely unexpected. He chose peace over all of it. Hollywood is famous for dramatic romances, public breakups, and constant headlines. Stars' personal lives are often under a microscope, with every relationship analyzed and every mistake magnified. Amid this chaos, Keanu quietly stepped back. There were no scandals, no public fights, no sensational headlines. Instead, he chose silence, a calm, intentional silence that reflected his inner world. Fans often ask, why is Keanu Reeves single? But asking why misses the point. A more important question might be, what has he gained by being alone? Keanu has hinted that being single gave him something far more valuable than fame or attention. It gave him space to breathe. Space to process his emotions, to heal from past wounds, and to truly understand himself. This wasn't about avoiding love or living in loneliness. It was a conscious decision, a choice to protect his heart after years of emotional storms. Behind that gentle smile and humble personality lies a man who has experienced both profound love and heartbreaking loss. Many people might let such experiences make them bitter, hardened, or distrustful. But not Keanu. He chose a different path. He allowed his pain to guide him, rather than define him. Each loss, each heartbreak became a lesson, a step toward a deeper understanding of life, relationships, and self. By stepping away from the constant pressure of relationships and public scrutiny, Keanu found freedom. Freedom to explore his passions, focus on personal growth, and live life without unnecessary stress or judgment. He discovered that peace does not come from someone else completing you, but from accepting and embracing yourself fully. In a world that often celebrates chaos and drama, Keanu Reeves reminds us that choosing calm, self-respect, and inner peace can be far more rewarding. Sometimes, walking away from the noise and the expectations of others is the bravest form of love for yourself. And that's exactly the path Keanu chose. To truly understand why Keanu Reeves values being single, we need to look at his past. His life was not always as calm, balanced, or peaceful as it may seem today. Behind the gentle smile and humble demeanor lies a man who has faced profound heartbreak and loss, experiences that most of us can barely imagine. Keanu experienced the kind of emotional pain that leaves a lasting impact on the soul. He lost people he loved deeply, loved in ways that shaped his very being. These weren't small disappointments or fleeting heartbreaks. These were life-altering losses. Losing someone close does more than break your heart. It changes how you see the world, how you relate to others, and how you understand love itself. After enduring such pain, Keanu's perspective on relationships shifted dramatically. Love stopped feeling like a carefree, magical fairy tale. Instead, it became something serious, fragile, and deeply meaningful. He realized that rushing into relationships just to fill a void or avoid loneliness could bring more harm than good. Love, for him, wasn't a temporary escape. It was something sacred that required understanding, patience, and self-awareness. Rather than distracting himself with endless noise or trying to fill the emptiness with temporary fixes, Keanu chose reflection. He embraced silence, giving himself the time and space to grieve, to process his emotions, and to rebuild from the inside out. This period of being single wasn't about avoiding love or shutting people out. It was about learning to respect it, to understand that meaningful relationships can only flourish when one is whole and emotionally ready. Being single gave him the freedom to explore his own feelings deeply, to acknowledge his pain without judgment, and to heal properly. He could focus on himself without external pressures, nurturing emotional growth that would eventually allow him to engage in relationships in a healthier, more balanced way. In many ways, Keanu's choice to remain single after experiencing profound loss is a lesson for all of us. It reminds us that love should never be rushed, and healing should never be ignored. Sometimes, the path to emotional strength and wisdom comes through solitude, reflection, and self-respect, and for Keanu Reeves, that path became a gateway to peace, understanding, and a life lived authentically. One of the biggest misunderstandings in society is the idea that being single automatically means being lonely. Many people believe that if someone is not in a relationship, they are incomplete, sad, or missing out on life. Keanu Reeves, however, proves the exact opposite. For him, being single has never been a source of loneliness, it has been a source of freedom, growth, and joy. Keanu uses his alone time in ways that bring him genuine happiness and fulfillment. He reads books, rides motorcycles, explores the city, and helps strangers whenever he can. He enjoys the simple pleasures of life, like sitting on a park bench with a warm cup of coffee, watching the world go by. These moments may seem ordinary, but for him, they are deeply meaningful. There are no cameras, no media attention, no expectations, just life, lived fully and freely. Keanu has mentioned that true peace comes when you stop chasing what everyone else is chasing. In a world obsessed with status, relationships, and public validation, he found happiness in independence. He realized that you do not need someone else to complete you. Being content with your own company is not only liberating, it is empowering. Being single taught Keanu valuable life lessons. It taught him self-sufficiency, the ability to rely on himself emotionally and practically. It taught him balance, how to manage his emotions without needing constant reassurance from others. Most importantly, it taught him how to be okay with his own presence, to enjoy solitude without feeling empty or lonely. And that, in itself, is incredibly powerful. When you are comfortable being alone, relationships become a choice, not a necessity. Love is no longer about filling a void, it becomes about sharing your life with someone because you genuinely want to, not because you fear being alone. Keanu didn't pursue relationships out of fear or insecurity. He pursued them out of understanding, honesty, and truth. His approach reminds us that solitude is not a weakness, it is a strength. Being alone allows reflection, growth, and emotional clarity. It allows us to build a life that is whole, complete, and meaningful. And for Keanu Reeves, being alone has not been a punishment, it has been a path to freedom, peace, and authentic happiness. Ironically, stepping away from relationships and choosing to be single allowed Keanu Reeves to understand love more deeply than ever before. In a world that often equates love with constant presence, attention, or possession, Keanu discovered a different truth. Real love, he realized, isn't about control, jealousy, or clinging to someone. It's not about filling an empty space or being dependent on another person for your happiness. True love is about respect, timing, and creating a safe space for both people to grow together emotionally. Keanu has shared that rushing into relationships before being emotionally ready can harm both individuals involved. If you are carrying unhealed pain or unresolved emotions, sharing your life with someone else can unintentionally transfer that burden to them. That's why he chose to step back, to focus on becoming whole, before allowing someone else into his life. Being single wasn't about avoiding love, it was about preparing himself to love in a way that is honest, kind, and sustainable. This period of solitude gave him the time to grow emotionally. It allowed him to cultivate patience, understanding, and empathy. He learned how to listen without judgment, to be present without needing recognition, and to give without expecting anything in return. It helped him become more grounded, more compassionate, and more self-aware. These lessons are essential for building a healthy and balanced relationship in the future. Being single also helped him realize that love is not something to be rushed or forced. It is something to be nurtured, experienced, and shared when both people are ready. Keanu's journey teaches us that stepping away from romantic relationships temporarily is not a failure or weakness. In fact, it can be one of the most loving and responsible choices we make, not just for ourselves, but also for those we care about. His story is a powerful reminder that love thrives when it is built on understanding, respect, and emotional readiness. By embracing solitude, Keanu Reeves showed the world that sometimes the most profound form of love begins with self-love, self-awareness, and the courage to grow before giving your heart to someone else. Today, Keanu Reeves is admired not just for his acting, but for his wisdom, humility, and emotional depth. Fans all over the world notice something rare in him: a calm, genuine presence that is visible in every smile, every gesture, and every interaction. His peace is real, and it didn't come from fame, money, or public recognition. It came from making conscious choices about life, relationships, and self-respect. Being single did not make Keanu bitter or cold. It did not make him resentful of love or detached from the world around him. Instead, it made him centered. In a society that is constantly loud, fast, and obsessed with relationships, Keanu chose quiet. He chose patience. He chose to value self-respect above societal pressures. This quiet strength, this calm confidence, is what makes him so inspiring. Keanu's journey teaches a simple but powerful lesson. You do not need to rush into love, and you do not need to fear being alone. For many people, being single is often viewed as a failure or a temporary setback. Keanu shows us a different perspective. Being single can be a gift of clarity, a gift of healing, and a gift of peace. It allows time for reflection, emotional growth, and self-discovery, creating a strong foundation for any future relationship. By choosing to focus on himself first, Keanu learned to live life fully and intentionally. He learned that happiness does not come from constantly seeking approval or love from others, but from being at peace with oneself. He learned to embrace solitude as a source of strength, not as a weakness. And this is why, when we see him smiling, it feels different. It is not the smile of someone chasing validation or attention. It is the smile of someone who has found inner calm and emotional balance, something many people are still searching for. Keanu Reeves' life reminds us that the most valuable relationships we can have start with ourselves. The peace he has cultivated through solitude, patience, and self-respect is something that everyone can aspire to. In a world obsessed with drama and constant connection, his message is clear. Stepping back, honoring your own journey, and embracing your own company can be one of the most powerful choices you ever make.